Hello, YouTube! What is up, dude? We're gonna do more tutorials. This time we're gonna go through the blue maps. So that's map 11 to 15. And we're just gonna jump straight into it. Of course, remember, you can watch the tutorial on my YouTube. It's gonna help you if you're a new player. And then, other than that, check out the previous tutorials or the next ones if you enjoy. Feel free to subscribe or follow me on Twitch. I'm doing this live on Twitch right now. You can see chat is right here. Boop, boop. Hi, chat. And, yeah. Let's just jump into it, dude. Let's just jump into it. Let's look at the game. Okay, so the blue maps. The blue maps start off pretty hard with a ice map. These ice maps are pretty difficult. Now, basically, there's one thing I can tell you guys that's gonna help with every single bobsleigh map or every single bobsleigh turn that you're gonna do in the game. And that is go up the wall before the turn starts. What I mean by that, I can show you. What I mean by that is that when I drive here and I go into this turn, you want to drive up the wall before the turn starts, okay? So let me just show you, okay? I want to drive up the wall before the turn starts. So I'm driving up the wall here and then the turn starts. That gives me way more of a smooth turn. I can do the same thing up here. I'm going to drive up the wall a little bit before the turn starts. And every single turn, the same goes here. I'm going to drive up the wall before the turn starts. You got to do that for every single bobsleigh turn in the game, okay? So that's my number one thing I can tell you on this map. It's just try to drive up the turns before they start, okay? Let's just take a look at my ghost here and just notice what it's doing. Here, I drive up the turn before the turn starts. Then I drive to the left, right, try to adjust, and then drive up the turn, or drive up the wall before the turn starts. Okay? One more time. I jump down, drive up the turn before the turn starts. Here, I try to avoid landing and drift. Do not land in a drift. You lose a bunch of speed. Here, I actually do not jump up the turn before the turn starts. Let me just show you why. When you exit this turn here, you want to exit it without drifting. And when you exit this turn here, over here, you want to exit it without drifting, okay? Remember that. Always, those are the two rules of playing ice. Once you exit an ice turn onto road, don't drift. And also, drive up the wall before a bobsleigh turn. That is literally it. But okay, so once we're here, I purposely don't drive up the wall before the turn starts, because I get catapulted a little bit up the wall and then I get thrown down, and I use that downwards motion to get to the left side and drive up this wall before the turn starts. I know it sounds a little weird, but stay with me. I purposely do this turn a little wonky to set myself up for a better turn here. Now, I'm not saying that's the best way to do it. That is the consistent way to do it. And remember, consistency reasons for me are more important because I play a lot of matchmaking. That's why. But you have more than 1.5 seconds to get between my personal best and the author time. So if you race against me, you can definitely drive slower than this. So it's just fine. Now, let's take a look at the time here. And let's just comment on what is happening while it's happening. Okay? Here we go. Drive up the wall before the turn starts. Once again, up here, we drive up the wall before the turn starts. Do not land in a drift, so I didn't drift right there. I jump down, drive up the wall before the turn starts, and I don't land in a drift again. Then a little bit of a drift here, and then I get up the wall and drive down the wall, so I get up this wall before the turn starts, and up that wall before the turn starts. But basically, if you get up most walls before the turn starts, you're gonna be just fine. These ice maps usually have pretty easy author times because they're more difficult. The maps themselves are more difficult, so if you get a somewhat clean run on the map, you're gonna get the author time. But this is definitely one of those maps that I think are more difficult, so that's why I'm saying drive up the walls before the turn start. And then don't drift on the road. Those two lessons should be enough for you to get this author time. Now let's jump on to the next map. Okay, so this is a full speed map. This is map 12. And this is a full speed map. Introduction into full speed. If you guys don't know what full speed is, I think it pretty much self-explanatory. You drive without hitting the brake button. So that's the number one rule on this map. Do not hit the brake button. Another rule that I should let you guys know is on these wall rides, it's beneficial to drive as low as possible. Okay? So as the lower you drive on the wall rides, the more speed you preserve. And that's basically what you have to do here and what you have to do here. And then you go for an inside line here. All of this, basically the map is unimportant. Just make sure that you keep your accelerator running. Do not let go of the accelerator at any point in the map. And also, don't brake if you want to get a fast time. Now, 100% you guys have already tried this map, and you can't really think of anything better to do, anything to improve your time. Let me tell you what the most important part of this map is, and it's this turn. You have to bounce on this water, land on this dirt section to remove your watery wheels, and then try to get as low of a turn as possible. You really want to turn, you want to be as low as possible and then drive down. Then keep the speed and then do this left-handed turn while trying. You have to try not to let go of your accelerator. You can let go a little bit, and it's going to be fine. You're still going to get the auto time, but try to avoid doing so, okay? Now, let me show you the run here. So, I go as low as possible on the first turn, just touching those corners right there. And once again, as low as possible. Low early. Inside line. And this is the most important part. A low wall right here into a full left turn. Everything is full speed. Now that last section right there. If you get a really good turn on that last wall ride, like, you know, the water bounce into the dirt, into the wall ride. If you get that last turn well, you can afford to release quite a lot. Because the auto time does not get that last turn well. So if you just get this turn somewhat decently, go low early, you can afford to release quite a lot right there and still get the auto time. But that last turn right there, this last turn right here, if you go low here early and you get a good line into this section, you can afford to release quite a lot because you're going to carry so much speed and it's going to be so much faster than the auto time. Okay, so we're on map 13. Let's go through some of the important parts of this map. The further in we get onto the maps, the less I kind of have to explain to you because the harder the maps are, and the better I'm assuming you're gonna be if you're hunting for the ATs on those maps. So let's take a look. First things first, you might be tempted to do an air brake here. Don't do an air brake. Just drive straight. Do not press the air brake button until you're flying over here. I'm gonna show you in a second. Then right here, an important part to do right here is try to go from a wide section, then go tight, and don't drift. Try to do as small of a drift as possible. This map is free. It's kind of free. It's really not that difficult. Then you should have a lot of exit speed going into this turn. Then enter this turn in a drift. Try to maintain speed during the drift. That means you can always adjust your drift by pressing the brake button a little more or releasing a little bit. But try to, get as perfect of a drift as possible. Goes without saying. Here, you jump down into another drift. This is kind of the iffy situation. If you jump down and get a bad drift, you lose a bunch of time, but that's fine. You just jump down, try to get a good drift, maintain speed. That means make sure your accelerator is running at all times here. Then jump down here. You land in a drift right here. And one of the important things I can tell you is that you need to drift again here pretty early because you want to have a tight line here so you can preserve the speed going through the last jump. Let's take a look at the time. There's not a lot I can tell you guys on this map. Do not air brake here. And then air brake here, okay? Because you land earlier because of it. Then I go pretty wide, and then I go tight. Oh, I get such a wide line there. But you get a lot of speed. Go wide and go tight. Then it's a drift, followed by landing into another drift. You can see I'm going pretty tight. I'm going pretty tight. Then another drift, and I extend the drift, going tight here. And I can full speed all the way up into the finish. Now, it is worth saying that if you get too good of a drift, in the ending, you will over-jump the finish. So, make sure you don't do that. If you get too good of a drift, you have to release a little bit. If you're anywhere near what I'm doing here, you are going to have a free author time. So let's jump on to the next map. Okay, so we're on map 14. I have a bad time on this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and say this is probably a harder map to get an AT on. I'm only 0.8 seconds ahead. But what I want to say here is some important parts of the map is you want to make sure that you get this turn full speed. Then you land wide. You go left side of this pillar. You go to the left of this pillar and then to the right of this pillar. Okay? But the most important part of this entire map, if there's anything you take away from this, is that if you want AT, if you want to get that author time, then this block is going to be the most important part of the map. This block is an engine off block and makes you unable to accelerate your car. Which means that the more speed you enter this block with, the more speed you're going to have throughout this section. And that's going to carry over to the rest of the map. Okay? That section is going to give you so much time if you get a good entrance into that turn. The rest of the map is, of course, important. I can't really tell you too much about it because it's just some turns and some drifts. There's nothing much I can say about it. So, if there's anything I can say, is that getting good speed into this section is going to help you a bunch on getting that author time. Now, let's take a look at what I do here. So, first things first, we make sure we don't let go of the accelerator. Just do a clean turn, go to the left of the first pillar, to the right of the second. Then do a small drift right here. Want to maintain the speed. Then I go pretty inside. I actually stay outside. I usually go inside. Get the jump and then land in a drift. Try to maintain as much speed as possible. You can see I have over 300 speed in that section. And then if you get that, you should be pretty golden. Honestly, you should be pretty golden. So, let's watch that one more time. There's also one more thing to notice if you're more of an advanced player, you know how gearing works. I do maintain the gear throughout the map. That's a thing to keep an eye out for. So you can see here, there's a gear right here that you can keep. You can maintain this gear. You can maintain 5th right there, or 4th, whatever it was. So you can do that if you want to. But if you're just going for author time, don't worry too much about the gear because you're fine. The important part is definitely getting that. Engine off block fast. That is the most important part. On to the next map and the final map in the Blue Series, boys. Here, there's a little bit of a cheat on this map. I have a very bad time on this map. Do not pay attention to that. The cheat on this map is that you can jump from this sausage block and skip this what is it? Cruise control block. It is a little bit difficult, but you get used to it pretty fast, okay? And then you just drive up. That section is going to save you a bunch of time. That's going to help you get the author time 100%. Another thing to notice is that you can jump from this sausage block over to the next part of the map. And then you... I mean, there's not a lot to say for me on this map. Honestly, there's really not a lot. You drive from the right side of this sausage block onto the left side so that you enter in a drift, and that's pretty much it. Now, I have a bad time here, but just take a look here. I don't even do the skip. This is literally from my day 1 experience. This is my day 1 time. Here, get a drift. Nice. Get a jump. And then an inside line here, I'm pretty sure. Yes. Very nice. We do a jump. Don't drift too much here. And then utilize the sausage block to get a drift. But if you get the start, let me just get the start for you guys so you can see. if you get the start, as I told you, you're gonna have quite an easy PB and quite an easy author time. That's too much airtime.
2 hours later.
See? Maybe I'm actually big brain by gearing up, even though it's slow. Okay, so after further revising on the map and just getting a PB with the skip, I definitely suggest that you go for the skip, because the skip is probably the easiest one in the game. And you definitely can do it consistently without any trouble. So I recommend all new players to do that. And if you can't do it, you're bad at the game. Well, but for real though, now I actually don't recommend doing the skip if you just want AT. Do the skip if you want to hate yourself a little bit and get a good PB. But if you don't want to do it, that is perfectly understandable. Absolutely copium getting that stuff done. So, yeah. With that being said, that was all the maps for the Blue series. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. If you did enjoy, you know, comment something. I don't care. I do care. Wait, what am I saying? I do care. Thank you for commenting. Also, so subscribing and following the Twitch. Okay. Thank you, YouTube. I will see you in the next one where we go through the red maps. Bye!